So the war, as both Andrew LaFleur and Terran predicted, happened. Terran and Eseen defeated the Cablon, and the Ottomans were defeated by the Patelcan LaFleur army. And the north was divided between these two sides. In the battle that was to come, the Battle of the Wuja, I was the strategist of King Patelcan. His son, Khaldian Patelcan, who is the Khaldian Patelcan that Carter had to fight all the way to Vadaria. In the Vadarian story, just to let you know that. Okay. So, the prince was at the Patelcan castle, which was like not medieval, like a European fancy castle, and it had like a large maze in it. So that was the castle they resided in, right? And Eseen was to the south. They seemed to the south. Terran used his tricks to lure us to the south, but I thought their plan was to bolster our defense. So it's like all we need to do is use our might to destroy him. But I let the might of the Pelican blinded my judgment. First, I did not see the ambush into the wings to the left and right. Then I did not see the envoy of artillery fire to the south. The forces were being crushed, the wings were secured, and the Eseen charged. And me and Terran fought. And I fought with my blue ward sword, the most powerful sword in all of Utopia. The sword whose defense can never be broken. But somehow, some way, he catch me slipping, and he defeated me. And rumor had it that I died in that battlefield. How much bad he beated me. And then Terran faced King Metallicon, who was mad that the Eseen was betrayal. And the end, Terran defeated King Metallicon, and the Eseen triumphant. Now Andrew Nefna now commanded my army and a few Metallicon troops. As the Eseen were now on the road towards Metallicon Castle, it was the next place to the north was the last defense. Andrew Nefna said LaFleur was like a father to me. How dare he do this? Moron and Grayton were angry and wanted vengeance. And Neil, in the back of her head, was thinking that Andrew LaFleur might be more than Andrew Nefna. But it's not right time to tell her suspicions, given that everyone was grieving for the late Lord. This attack that you're seeing was led by Eseen. And Eseen and his Eseen army tried diligently to beat the defense of the LaFleur forces. But we were much smarter than that. And we overcame the Eseen and forced them to retreat. And then I was alive. I faked my injuries, the severity of my injuries, so I could escape and fake my death. And I talked, with Nia, who was treating my wounds, and she said, "So, he's your son, isn't he?" I was like, "Who?" "Andrew Nefna. I see how you look at him. You look as proud as a father is to his son." And I say, "How?" Then she said, "Women's tuition." And I told her, "Okay. The reason why I did that because I have many enemies. As you may see, I have many enemies. To tell you the truth, how we lost that battle was the League against LaFleur, the LAL, led by Rowan Horton. He was the strategist and elite warrior of the Hortons. He, like Terran now, did not trust me. And so they returned with some troops from the Chaldeans and the Royals, a bunch of other troops that I had screwed over in the past. And they sided with Terran. So the essence of Kingsley and others have joined with Terran to form the LAL, the League Against LaFleur. Yes, I have a whole society dedicated to my destruction. That is why the identity of my son must be kept secret. I must do away with all my enemies. And then, and only then, the peace finally be Utopia. And so the final battle was on between myself and the Terran forces. And the Eseen and the LAL. Guardian Carter Patelicon was to the north with his advisors, but it was I and my troops that led the front line. It is imperative that I defeat Terran rule before the Patelicon decided to advance. But before then, I stayed back into place to let the LAL come and attack me. And so I let them do it. I let all of them come to me. And I slay them all with my blue one sword. Once all of them were defeated, I advanced to Terran rule. As Andrew Necklace to fight Baha, Eseen, and everybody else was fighting their own battles. And then I was closing on Terran rule. And then Carter and Patelicon was like, I had it. I will not allow no one else to avenge my father but me. All units charge. The Patelicon forces were coming. It's imperative that I meet Terran rule alone. And so me and Terran rule clashed. And he said, so you seek Utopia to live out the true name of our planet. Do you know the road is hard and long? Are you willing to show the burden of being known as a traitor to all to gain power? And I said, I rather history see me as a villain and see me and I take advantage of it instead of it taking advantage of me. You know? And me and him clashed with our blades. At the end, I got the upper hand on him and defeated Terran rule. And then, but as the battle was won, and the scene was no more, and the Patelicon had won all the planet, I suddenly collapsed. And God and Patelicon was coming to me, but he was held back by his guards, and Andrew Necklace come to me. I said, my lord, wake up. And I said, my son, please. And Andrew Necklace was like, my lord. And then he was thinking like, oh, I must be something to him. And I said, no. Your mother's name names you that to protect you from my enemies. My enemies are dead now. Think of it. I'm Andrew Nankina LaFleur. You're Andre Nickna. Andrew Nankino. You are my son. And he was dumbfounded. And I told him, as I was coughing up blood, you must hide your emotions. You cannot allow the Patelicon to know who you truly are. To now get me back to camp. And so I went to camp and told everyone, my closest advisors, that Andrew Neckner was really Andrew King LaFleur Jr., my son. And the time had come for them to rise. At this point, Collagen was there also, stunned and dumbfounded. Him, Nia, and my son each held chain swords with multiple rapid fire at each end that would form and fuse together to defeat the ultimate opponent that was to come. I told them this, and then I said, the heavens called for me. My son, my friends, my allies, please, do what's right. Bring Utopia to the people of Utopia. With that, I gave up the ghost and passed away. Andrew Neckner then dropped his name of Andrew Neckner and claimed the name of Andrew Nakin LaFleur and raised a floor banner and founded an Josepha, and now is about to advance and defeat the Patelicon, who are now corrupt. For Kandin Patelicon was not worthy of ruling this world. And they were going through the maze and all that stuff, and Kandin was like, you will not destroy me, because he was in the front line. He said, Lord Patelicon, take my strength, as he was being slain. And my son was like, what? King Patelicon survived? Like, oh, I thought he was dead. And when he reached the castle, he saw this big, giant, golden Patelicon. A big, giant golden rod. It was the ultimate Patelicon. It was a Patelicon troop that was blasted from the first universe when Heifer Nocturne came and started killing people. And the force of that blasted this Patelicon all the way from the first, the second, to the third universe. Then he founded Patelicon and built it, and it was using powers from the north to track the whole planet that was Patelicon, which was the largest planet in the universe at the time, to fuse with Utopia, and him to survive it and forge a new Patelicon planet and the rule. That was his ultimate plan. And my son had to stop it. But the people of Utopia were under threat as they saw the planet approaching. So the three sword chains founded into one, into a trident of Utopia, the weapon of true Utopia, because of all the people. And he used that to beat back the ultimate Battlecon, and then defeated him, dragged their old spirit back to his original form, sucked him in, and spewed him out across the skies to the planet, destroying Planet Battlecon, and saving Utopia. And from then on, and Joseph government was established for the first time, and the LaFleurs ruled. But because of all this action and destruction of the planet, it will draw attention of other life forms and intelligence from across the universe, which will drastically affect the history of Utopia and the universe forever.